Good morning, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I am Mei Lai, and lovely to be here sharing a practice with you today. Uh, just a few, as you can see, I'm somewhere out in the nature. I'm at my friend's home, which I'm really happy to be here, and trying a new setup. So I just wanted to let you know this is the time of great imperfection, which I quite like actually. And so I'm going to speak to you separately. I have Instagram Live here. You can see the light shining through. It's going to keep moving. And then I'm also working on Facebook Live, partly so that we can save the videos and have them accessible for you too. Um, yeah, and I was doing this via Zoom before where I got to see some of your faces, which I loved, but we're trying something new. So if I would love your feedback at the end of this as well. Yeah, and hopefully you can hear me for the whole time too. So we're going to move straight into the practice today. This will be about a 30-minute practice and really about nourishment and connection. It will be a movement practice starting with a little bit of grounding. And as you might see, well, for some of you can see that I have a chair here, and that's to invite you to use a chair if that feels useful for you. And I will demonstrate how you might use the chair for some of the forms that we'll do during this practice. So to get started, you're welcome to find a position for your body that feels supportive and easeful. That could be seated on a cushion, on a chair, on a couch, or you might prefer to be standing, or lying down as your starting place. You're welcome to have your eyes open or closed, with the invitation to begin tuning into your senses. It might be listening to the sounds around you, be able to hear the birds in the background here, maybe the sounds in the space that you're in. If your eyes are open, you prefer to have them open, you might be taking a look around the space that you're in. Maybe letting your eyes land on something that feels nourishing to look at, and drinking that in through your eyes. And if it feels useful, you might turn your attention towards your breath. Be noticing the inflow of your inhalation, the outflow of your exhalation. Be moving in and out through your nostrils, or you might feel the movement of your breath somewhere in your body. If it feels useful, you could place a hand or two hands on your body as you're noticing your breath. Knowing that this practice is really about your own nourishment and connection, but you're welcome to follow along with me as much as you like. And you're also welcome to go off on your own flow or in your own direction, or take a pause at any time. You might even be doing something completely different from what I'm doing, but using this shared time and space together for your own practice. And if you are noticing your breath here, maybe becoming aware of the quality of your breath and welcoming it just as it is. And there's nothing that you need to shift or change at this point in time. If your breath is slow, let it be slow. If it's fast, let it be fast. But know that each breath is nourishing your body. Oxygen flowing in on your in-breath and nourishing all of the cells of your body. And breathing out carbon dioxide as you exhale, which is nourishment for the trees and the plants. So in this reciprocal cycle of nourishment and exchange. Maybe having a sense of what that cycle feels like in your own body and your own breath. And as you're ready, you could move your attention away from your breath and we'll move towards a sense of touch, so some self-massage this morning. Maybe starting with one hand on the opposite side of your neck. So we're awakening a sense of touch, which, for me, I'm really missing in these days. You could find a way of massaging, and it's your body, so you're welcome to use as much or as little pressure as you like. Maybe making your way down one arm. That might be squeezing or pressing or massaging. It could also be tapping. There's another way of working with a sense of touch. Awakening the sense receptors in your skin and in your muscles. Welcome to make your way down one arm, maybe to your hand. You're welcome to find your own pace as well. At any time, maybe moving to the other side of your neck. So, invitation to check in with how your body's doing. If it's holding tension, or maybe finding softness. Your way down your arm, squeezing, pressing, or tapping. And maybe exploring this sense of what's it like to offer nourishment to your body through these different senses that we have. You could spend as much or as little time at any area of your body. If you're following along with me, maybe making your way up towards your head and your skull. Maybe across your forehead, waking up the muscles, the sense receptors of your face that are connected into your social nervous system, your system for connection. Maybe across the front of your chest. And then from touch, we'll move into movement. That might be starting with shoulders. Exploring any kind of movement here, large or small. Rather than a prescribed movement, as we often encounter in yoga practice. But this practice, be inviting your body to move from the inside out. So finding a way that feels nourishing to move. Maybe noticing how that feels. You might send that down one arm, maybe the other arm. And possibly inviting a deeper or a smoother breath as you begin to move and awaken through shoulders, arms, chest, and spine. So from here, I'm going to move my way onto my mat. And as I said, experimenting with this new setup, I hope you can still hear me from over there. Maybe making your way towards all fours. And continuing exploring any kind of movement in your body. One way to do this is to find movement through your joints. So again, that might be shoulders that you've already started waking up. You might add in elbows and see here. And you have the constraint of the surface that you're on, but that also provides opportunity for different kinds of movement. As you start to add in more joints, you might awaken movement through the vertebrae of your spine. And just seeing what directions they might move in this morning. An invitation to practice in a way that offers you nourishment and a sense of connection. That might mean different things for each of us, and it might look really different in the way that we move our bodies. From here, you could take your knees a little wider apart, perhaps bringing the big toes to touch and resting back towards a child's form. Maybe stretching your sitting bones towards your heels, and then maybe rocking forwards again. So perhaps bringing a little bit of gentle but active movement, starting to wake up through your hips. You might be rocking straight forward and back, or there might be some other movements here. Our bodies actually love to move in spirals and waves and circles. That's how our bodies are formed. And somehow we end up quite linear for many of us. So inviting that possibility for some spirals, waves and circles. You're welcome to keep moving here, or you could come back towards a child's form, reaching your sitting bones back towards your heels. And we could add in a shoulder stretch here. So for this one, you could take one arm diagonally across your body with the palm facing up and resting down towards that shoulder. With the other hand, taking it on top and interlacing your fingers together. So here's where the stretch part comes in. You can pull your bottom arm towards you and push away from you with your top hand. And that will give you some traction. You might feel that down through the outer edge of your bottom arm that's extended, shoulder there. If you are here in this stretch, maybe tuning into your breath. Maybe noticing sensations through your shoulder or the side of your body, and knowing that you're welcome to shift or change what you're doing at any time too. And feel free to come back towards center at any time. Might take a little pause or a rest here, or maybe rock forwards and back a few more times. And if you like, you could try that stretch on the other side. So bringing your other arm across diagonally, interlacing your hands together and resting down towards your bottom shoulder. And here, pulling your bottom arm towards you and pushing away with your top hand and arm. Be noticing if it feels different from one side to the other. And that question that you might ask yourself of what could I do here that might make this a little bit more nourishing? What does that feel like in my body? Does that offer that self-care? And feel free to come out at any time and back towards center. Be making your way towards all fours if you're following along with me. And that invitation is always there for you to go off on your own embodied journey. Finding a little bit of soft movement here. And then the option, if you'd like to move towards a little bit more of an active practice, you might shift from all fours towards a downward facing dog. Maybe rocking backwards and forwards between these two, or spending a little time in one shape. If you would like to try this with a chair, and particularly for those who may have knee challenges or wrist challenges, I'll just offer that as an option. So you might be using a chair with your hands on the back of a chair. You could also use hands on the seat of a chair. Here, maybe walking your feet back. And finding this downward dog variation here. Might be bending and straightening knees. Or it might be walking your feet in and walking your feet back. Make my way back towards the mat for now. And another option here is to rock your way forward to tabletop or to plank. And then to lower all the way down for a cobra here. So your hands might be either side of your body, hugging your elbows in, and lifting your chest just as high as it feels right for you today. And then maybe lowering down again. You could pulse between these two forms, lifting up and lowering down. And maybe adding in your breath if that feels useful. And possibly checking, scanning through your body for any sharp pains or a lot of sensations of contraction, say in your lower back. And then you might use those sensations as a guide for where to move or where not to move. So part of the practice of nourishment is really tuning in to sensation and making choices based on what you notice and what you feel, and knowing that you don't have to get those choices perfect either. At any point, lowering back down, maybe pressing your way back to tabletop or a downward dog. And in a moment, we'll transition towards standing for those who feel to follow along in that direction. And you can make your way to standing in any way that you like. You'll roll up through your spine, some other way to get there. Maybe moving towards the top of your mat if you are standing. So here's another place that if you are working with a chair or you'd like to try and you have one handy, that can be there as an option. So as a support for some balance or standing forms, or you could even sit on the chair to do these, and I'll demonstrate for you. You can see for those who might be watching on Instagram that the sun is right here. And as I step in, I lose my head into the halo of light. So, from standing, an option here to float your arms towards your shoulders and then to press away as you sit back into your heels. And then pressing down to rise up again and letting your arms release down. And that could be a flow, fingertips to shoulders, pressing away as you sit back into your heels. Floating up and softening your arms down. You're welcome to do that cycle 1 or 2 more times if you like, maybe adding in your breath. It's going to be a nice way to support balancing and regulating your breath, is to align it with your movement. Maybe after this next cycle, I'm taking a pause, and this time as you float your arms up, Could float one leg up and then step it back towards a crescent lunge. And if you did want to be using a chair here, you could use that chair for support as well. Otherwise, maybe bringing your hands to your hips. And rather than finding a static form here, you might try a little bit of movement or pulsing through your hips. So maybe sensing into waking up your joints and waking up your muscles. And as much as it feels useful, listening into your body and seeing what it might be offering to you this morning. And as you enter into that conversation and connection, maybe trying a few different things in that practice of offering nourishment. And as you're ready, stepping back towards the front and maybe to the other side, be floating arms and leg, and then stepping back as slow or as fast as you like. Have the chair, you can take hold of the chair, or maybe bring hands to hips here. An option to be moving and pulsing. Be noticing different sensations through your hips or your legs. And when you're ready, maybe stepping back towards the front. An option to do that again and add in some different stretches with arms here. So maybe floating arms and legs up, stepping back to any distance. Maybe starting hands on chair or on your hips. And then from here, keeping the same hand as your front leg on your hip and lifting your other arm maybe into the air and over towards a side stretch. You always have your hand on your shoulder if you prefer here too. Maybe noticing sensation down through the side of your body, and the side of your hip. And maybe stillness that you're finding here, or possibly some movement. Anytime coming back to center and stepping forward. Maybe the other side. Be taking your hands to your hips or to the chair. And then reaching the same arm as your back leg to the air or to your shoulder. And maybe over towards a side stretch. And the stretch could be as small or as large as you like. And maybe as you move, exploring different sensations through the side of your body and your hips here. You could be changing the position of your feet at any time or taking a rest or a pause at any time too. As you like, moving back towards standing. We'll take one more stretch here before we move towards a seat for the last 5 minutes of our practice together. This is my favorite stretch. It's called getting out of bed in the morning stretch. So you could just imagine you've just got out of bed and your body instinctively knows what it wants to do. Most of the time when we wake up in the morning, there's a stretch that happens. It may be so tiny or maybe a lot larger, and often we don't even think about it. That's how instinctive it is. The opportunity to invite that to be a little bit more conscious. Opportunity for any last movement, small or large, that your body might enjoy this morning. You're welcome to continue moving if that's where you want to go, or maybe making your way back towards the seat. come in a little bit closer to you again. And as you settle towards a seat, knowing that that can be in any position, you might prefer lying down, though that's really welcome as well. These last few minutes. And here you might ask yourself the question, what could I offer myself for nourishment right in this moment? You may or may not have an answer or an idea, and that's okay too. Just asking that as a possibility. It's a way of connecting in with your body and your inner world in a way that is kind and intentional. You might find there's a little bit of movement that emerges. For some, you're tuning in with breath. For me, I'm noticing my attention move back out to the sound of the birds, back towards senses. Or it may be coming to a self-touch, maybe even a little more self-massage. Take about 2 minutes here without my voice for you to find a way to bring the practice to a close and a completion in your own way. And after these 2 minutes, we'll take a little moment to wrap up together. As a way of finishing our practice together, I'd like to find a gesture with your hands, your arms. It might be hands over your heart. We're in Anjali Mudra, and together in front of your chest. Maybe some other position that feels right for you. Maybe bowing your head in as a way of symbolizing and offering humility and softening from our minds, dominant minds, into the wisdom of bodies and hearts. Thank you so much for joining in practice together. I'm grateful that we still have these ways that we can be in our bodies and share practice together, even by a distance. You're welcome to wrap up there if you like. If you did feel like sharing or asking any questions, I'll still be here for a minute on both of these platforms that I'm juggling here. So thank you so much. And our next practice will be on Thursday for those in Australia, afternoon time. And I think it's morning time for those in Europe. And we'll have a special guest teacher for that practice this week. So thank you so much and look forward to seeing you soon. This will be on Instagram Live for the next 24 hours in our stories, and on Facebook. It'll be saved there as a recording so you can access it anytime. So lovely to see some of you there. Hi. Hi, Carly. Hi, Kate. Hey, Nisha. So lovely to share practice with you. Thanks, Katie. Beautiful. So I'll be signing off now. And yeah, if you did want to reach out at any time via private message too, I'd love to hear from you. So thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day wherever you